And we're live
We are. I don't
for
believe you.
for Freaky Fractious Friday with Mikey and Vinnie. He's Vinnie, I'm Mikey. He's in Seattle, I'm in LA, and we're here every Monday, every Wednesday, and every Friday. Today is a Freaky Friday, am I right?
I believe so, Michael. Let me look at the calendar. Yes, you are correct. October 18th. It is.
What's happening to this month? This month is going. We started this month on the 10th. It seems like.
Yeah, it's flying by this month. I have to admit, I'm in the same. Now, I was gone for a week during this month, so I don't know if that makes a difference. But from people I'm talking to, they're saying, "Hey, you know what? It's flying by for me too." So I don't know if being gone has anything to do with it.
October is the fastest month. Everyone agrees on that.
Well, that's because you have Halloween at the end, and people now, in the old days, Halloween just on October 29th, excuse me, October 29th, people said, oh crap, Halloween's the day after tomorrow.
I better work on my
Now,
costume.
yeah, now I got to get a costume. And then you start going through your drawers and seeing what you can, scavenger up. Now people decorate their houses. They decorate. I mean, I don't know. Did anybody ever decorate their house for Halloween when you was a kid?
There was always that one house that had the spooky entrance, where you had to go get your candy, but you had to pay in fear and loathing
But
before you got.
that house was like that 365.
Yeah, that was the spooky house, no matter what.
Yeah, I mean that house was like that. That was the old man who lived in that house, that used to work for Con Edison. Um, this is a whole different thing. People going out and putting spider webs and all that other stuff. It's just something that I had never seen before. I saw some of it, I guess, in San Francisco in the 80s. I saw some people who, dressed up their houses, put some spider webs, like on Halloween,
Yeah.
but not. I mean, you drive down the streets here, and 3 weeks before Halloween, people got their houses with ghosts and goblins and the whole thing. I think it's on a par for some people now with Christmas.
You convert the front yard into a graveyard.
Now, my beautiful ex-wife number two used to decorate her backyard for Halloween. She had um, styrofoam like gravestones that she made, and she would put like the person from people who had died that year. She would put gravestones out for them. I remember one year we had a gravestone out there for Bert Convey.
The only one in the neighborhood I would be willing to wager.
Maybe the only one on the West Coast, but it was her thing. She enjoyed doing it. I thought it was kind of cool, actually. An interesting way to remember the dead. So I was, but it seems that, and maybe it's because of the Hispanic influence in our country is growing.
Dia de los
Ask any
Muertos.
pollster, and they'll tell you that we now seem to celebrate the Day of the Dead
Yeah.
also, and people decorate for that. They're two different kinds of decorations, though.
Yeah, Day of the Dead is a little happier than Halloween, which is rather
Yeah.
grim.
As a matter of fact, you can go for the whole 3 day arc of Halloween, Day of the Dead, and All Souls Day, and really get yourself because you have to change.
Now that's a lot of souls when you think about it. When you have
It's
a
a
day
lot of dead. It's a
for
lot of
all
spirits.
souls.
America could just make one holiday saying, remember the spirits, remember those that have gone before us day. And that would
Well,
be,
I just want to comment that it's not always a happy dime, and I don't mean the sorrow for those who have passed on. It means that when you celebrate the dead, you awaken things that maybe you should have left quiet,
yeah, that's
and then you got
something
to
that,
deal with that. I lived in a
yeah.
haunted house in Miami, and it was not a comfortable place to be.
Did you really feel it?
Oh yeah, more than anything else is how you felt.
Really? That's because I mean I've had that experience too, where I've gone to some place that was haunted and have felt the vibe, the spirits that were there, the people that
The
died there,
the vibes are there.
moving around. That they left, their bodies left, but their souls and their spirits certainly did not.
Did not move on.
There were strange things that happen in places like that, and I'm not talking about like commercial type things, but
No, it's not commercial. It's not
yeah,
a sale.
yeah,
It's
but
not a saleable commodity.
yeah, well, I think it is for some people. I think there's some people that make money off it.
Yeah, you're
Uh,
probably right.
yeah, but I think that there are places that you can go and places that are only known to a certain group of people where things have happened, like murder scenes.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
I wasn't involved with anything like that, but yes, I know what you mean.
yeah, but so I can see that you're in that house and all of a sudden you're hearing from people who are no longer writing letters.
No, their communication's a little different than you're used to, accustomed to.
What was the incident that convinced you, or was there one incident that convinced you that you were in a haunted place?
Well, I was told that it was haunted, but the first incident was it was a three-story house in Miami, and it was beautifully done. Porticos on the second floor, bedrooms on the second floor and third floor, uh, a carriage entrance on the side of the house, carriage house in the back. Beautiful, beautiful house done in Florida pine and white lathe. And there was a number of kids that lived there. A guy that I played music with, the bass man that worked for Florida Power and Light, lived there and said that I could stay on the third floor. So I did. And first or second morning that I was there, I wake up and everybody gets up and goes to work for the power company. And I hear voices and walking around downstairs. So I go down to see who's in the home. And there was nobody there. All the conversations and the shuffling of feet and all the activity I heard on the first floor. I was on the third floor, so you can imagine what it would sound like hearing somebody on the first floor just having a conversation.
Yeah.
Nothing strange, nothing daunting, nothing haunting about it. And there was nobody there. And that alerted me that I was living in a different place. Later on, I saw different things and heard different things that were uncomfortable. And I was glad to leave. Happy to be out of there.
How long did you stay before you left?
Couple weeks.
Yeah, it would have been there would have been an exit strategy right after that happening.
That's it.
That would have come
I'm
into play.
gone.
I got to find a place.
I'm gone. And the
Did
funny
you?
thing is, the people
Well,
who
I mean,
live, the
were
people,
you sleeping okay?
yeah, the people who lived there just took it in stride. It didn't affect them in any particular way whatsoever. They were just oblivious to it. They didn't pick up on the feelings. They weren't sensitive to it.
Wow. Yeah, see, I think you bring up a really great point is that there are some people that are sensitive to that
Yeah,
stuff. That, yeah, it kind of goes, you're equipped with a different level of understanding or a different level of communication than they are.
your radar works differently.
Yeah, yeah, you're just wired differently because I know that there are places that I've gone where, you know, you've gotten messages or things have told you or things have happened that you really you can't just explain it to people. But
Also,
yeah,
there's
no,
that
you feel.
there's that exit strategy. It's like let's just get the hell out of here.
Yeah. One of the places I really felt that is when I went to visit Gettysburg as an adult for the first time.
That's not a good place.
Yeah, I had been to Gettysburg as a kid a number of times. My dad, wasn't that far of a drive from our house, a few hours. And it was one of the places my dad used to like to go to. But I hadn't gone there as an adult for many, many years. And the first time I went back there and started driving around the streets, I remember I had a Kia Soul. So that should have told me something right there.
There you go. You're driving the soul, and the soul's driving right back.
That should have said something to me right there, man. But everywhere I went in Gettysburg, and there are, everything's marked. I mean, where this battalion was, where these people from New York were. Every time I would go to something that had something to do with New York, like the fighting 69th or this battalion or that battalion, I felt it.
Yeah.
You could feel a vibe of people that had died there.
Well, there were so many.
So many, and almost to the point of saying it's your job to protect what we died for.
Because we didn't do it voluntarily. Who knew we were all going to die this day?
Right. It was just the weirdest thing. But the thing I left Gettysburg with was this message that it's incumbent upon you to protect what we fought for.
Interesting.
And it was really a strange experience. I mean, I've had experiences where I've made contact with people that have passed on and all kinds of things like that. My ex-wife's father comes to me many times.
Wow.
I've sensed him in a room or asked a question and somehow gotten an answer.
Spirit guide.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely something that happens. So I will never sell that short.
What sort of relationship did you have with him? How come him?
Good, very good relationship. Yeah, very, very good relationship with him. Was a very smart observer of life. Saved many lives in his time on Earth. He was a psychiatrist. And
so he's still helping
people. He was the guy that for many years, when somebody was going to jump off the Coronado Bridge, he was the guy that they would call to come out and talk them down. So, I mean, I don't know how many lives he saved over the years, but, more than a handful, certainly.
So he's still out there helping?
No, well, yeah. I mean, that's actually very true. I think he's still out there guiding, and trying to help people. I mean, that was his life. It was a life of service. And he still performs that service. He doesn't charge for it anymore, or at least I haven't seen a bill.
When we went to the Super Bowl in Miami, I took the car. You and John were not with me. John Hunter, our producer. And I went to that haunted house.
You did?
I wanted to drive by. And it was torn down.
Wow.
It was a vacant lot with a cyclone fence around
it. Did you get out of the car? Did you stand there, or did you feel anything?
I took a look. I didn't want to. I just wanted to see it. I don't think I would have gone in if it had been there. Or I might have. I would have knocked on the door. So I used to live here. Is this still going on? But I wondered what happened to those spirits that were attached to that house, because there was like 3 or 4 of them, if not more. And I always wondered what became of them. And did they build a new house there that was the new home for them?
Wow. Well, yeah, see, that's something I've always wondered. Do they, when something happens in a building and that building is torn down or moved or whatever, do the spirits stay there, or do they have to go find another place to live? Do they have to make contact with people at another point?
I don't know if there's a hard and fast rule. One of the two, maybe one of 5 solutions. But if they didn't move on after all that time, what's keeping them here? So that was always my question.
Yeah, it's really, well, sometimes I can understand with the people that were murdered or committed a murder, that's where the end of their life or the end of their goodness stopped. And so they have to, they feel compelled somehow to stay there. Maybe they feel like they're going to get their life back, or maybe they feel like they're going to get their spirit back, or maybe they're going to, who knows? I mean, I'm not that um, well versed in it, uh, but
Well, I don't
I
think there's
often
ever
wondered how.
really. I don't know if there's one answer that covers everything.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's really something that uh, maybe there's no explanation for it. Maybe it just kind of goes as it goes.
I think it's as
You know?
natural as the sun coming up.
Yeah. Why do you go to a place like
Ah, coffee.
a Lilydale, which is a place, a spiritual community in upstate New York, not too far from Chautauqua, and you go and you sit in a certain place at Lilydale, and people come to you at that place.
It's a meeting place.
It's a meeting place, and it's for whatever reason it's kind of been eked out as this place where people go to try to make contact with people who have passed before them. And there are people there who are there. And this is for free. It's not, I mean, it's not like they sit there and they charge you, $100 to do this. It's a free session. You go and you sit in this a kind of amphitheater, and they have mediums that come in and they talk to you. And several times that I've gone there, people from my past have contacted me, and you don't fill out a piece of paper, you don't fill out anything. It's just
Right.
some person pointing to you and saying, can I come to you?"
Well, it's nice they
Really
have
bizarre.
it's nice that they have an intermediary, so you don't run into something that you don't want to contact.
Yeah. If if somebody says to you, you're going to die tomorrow, you really don't want to know that, so yeah. Or maybe in some cases you do. I don't know.
The spirit of Henry Ford. He seems angry. I don't know about this guy. Yeah.
Henry's pissed off about something. Maybe it was that he should have priced that car at $9.95 instead of $8.95.
Think of the
We
difference.
got $100 out of the people.
And maybe don't call your kid Edsel.
Yeah, well, yeah. That where did that name come from? I mean, is there a Saint Edsel and I missed, or is there a?
There's always a Saint Edsel. There's saints from here to there. If you can't find a Saint Edsel, you're not looking.
Maybe that's and if you're gonna name a car after your kid, don't hang an ugly nose on it like that.
They should have called it the Durante.
Yeah, I mean, good God, you wanna name a car after your kid, make it slick, make it sleek, make it look like that car that the Superman used to drive, or the Batmobile or something. Give it something.
Something. Give it something. Make it
Give
make it
it
look like a
something.
Mustang.
Yeah, so I don't know, Mikey. What do you think about it? And I hate to say this, but I don't know. I think the Mets could come back, but I wouldn't put it high on the likely scale at the moment. But I'm
The
still going to
problem,
root for him. I'm still going to believe in him.
well, of course you are, but the thing I hate about tonight is Flaherty's coming back, and his starting game one was extraordinary. His
Yeah,
control and the whip he puts on that ball. If he pitches like that, they're going to have a hell of a time getting on base.
yeah. I mean, you could talk about home crowds and you could talk about this and that, but the reality is, this guy is a frontline top caliber pitcher. He knows everybody's weaknesses. He knows how to exploit them,
And
and
he
he is.
attacks. He doesn't throw. He doesn't.
He's the difference in what the Mets have and what the Dodgers have.
And the Mets have hitters that aren't hitting, and the Dodgers have hitters like Otani and Max Muncy. He got on base 13 times in a row, Max Muncy. He
Yeah,
either hits or walks. That's insane in the playoff series. It's insane. It's unheard of. And
but that shows you the difference in baseball, though, Michael, doesn't it? Because if this had been Don Drysdale's Dodgers or Juan Marichal's Dodgers, the last couple of times he would have got on base would have been hit by pitches.
yeah, right here, right there. Throw it at
Yeah,
his Adam's apple.
yeah. You want to do that, fine, but you're not. Yeah, we'll put you on base.
And they walked him a lot. I mean, he walked 3 times last night.
Well, he's a dangerous hitter.
One
I
of the
mean,
strangest things about Muncie is that he goes deep into the count. he walks a lot, but he still has the power to put it on the upper deck in the outfield.
It was interesting because that's what the Mets didn't seem to be able to do last night. Is the Mets are hot when they're working 7, 8, and 9 pitch counts.
Yeah.
And it seemed to me like at some point in the last night's game, they got over anxious. Everybody was trying to make something happen. So all of a sudden they're swinging at the first pitch.
And swinging at balls they can't hit.
Oh, yeah, swinging at bad pitches. I mean, I just didn't believe that the Dodgers – now, I'll grant that the Dodger pitchers were good, but I also saw a lot of guys swing at some stuff that looked like it was – never came close to the strike zone.
Gave all the advantage to the pitcher.
And it just it's like a disease. You could see it move through the lineup where the guys, even at the bottom of the lineup, that were working counts – and boom, boom, boom. Now we're 0. They're working out of 0-2, and they're they're just up there flailing. They're trying to hit something and they can't hit anything. And how many guys last night struck out on ball 3?
Yeah, or swung at a pitch way out of the zone for strike 3.
Yeah, that's what I said. Swung.
You don't even finish your swing. You know you didn't hit it, and you're on your way back before you finish your follow through.
Yeah, so hopefully they'll have a little bit more control over that. I like the idea that these games are bing, 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 3 games in a row.
Right.
So you don't get a chance to sit on it and stew about it for a day or two. You just go back out tonight and do what you do. You're home.
The fans are dying to rock, as you know. They're dying to tear the place apart, and they haven't had that opportunity. They don't even get a late inning home run to cheer about.
Yeah, it sucks when the other team comes in and beats you. It sucks that it's the Dodgers for older fans like us who still, well, in your case, you're a Giants fan. In my case, it's that there's just a natural hate of the Dodgers for taking the team out of the city.
And if you want to beat them, you better score more than 7 runs. So, it's not a 1-0 situation.
Yeah, and they have a lineup that's just solid 1-9.
Yeah.
There's no
Kike Hernandez. Who knew Kike Hernandez was going to be such a factor?
What a turd! Of all the people that could be a factor, he's the guy. What a piece of crap!
He has a high turn factor.
I'll never forget what he did to Rosenthal in that game the other night. Man, that was just the one of the lowest class moves. I mean, the Dodgers are full of low class moves, but that one to me was just it was just uncalled for.
I didn't see the scene. What did he say to him exactly?
So Rosenthal is interviewing Kike Hernandez after the win. It's going to send him to the to face the Mets. I don't know if they knew they were going to face the Mets yet. Anyway, so Rosenthal is interviewing, doing a standard post-game interview, and then he says, so you ask him a question along the lines of it, I'm paraphrasing. Well, what is this club? What is it about this club that is different, that gives you that ability to play, without fear? So Hernandez looks at him, and then he pulls back like this, and he looks like this, and he looks like this, and he starts to ponder for a second. And then he asks Rosenthal, are we on live TV? And Rosenthal says, yeah. So Hernandez leans into the microphone and says, because we just don't give a fuck.
Whoa.
Rosenthal says, yeah, thank you, Kiki, and just pulls the mic and walks away.
Well, they'd had trouble with him earlier. They weren't doing the on-field interviews with him because of what he said in the pregame show.
See, and for my money, I can't understand why the league didn't fine him or suspend him. I mean, that's that's part of your. I mean, that's part of what your job is. Your job. Now, I'm not a fan of this post game interview, but I've done that job, Michael, and that's
Tough.
your worst fear.
Yeah.
Your worst fear is that you're live on the radio or on TV, and some asshole is going to say something like that.
Did
Because
you
it's
guys ever
embarrassing to you
were you guys working
as
on any
well as
delay
it is.
were you working on any delay at all?
No, the on radio, yes. On television, no. And I was doing stuff for Fox Sports, no. And so I know the position that Rosenthal is in. And every time you do one of those interviews, you just pray that the guy who's speaking to you in Spanish is not saying screw everybody's mother. You know, that the guy who was pissed off at you because you didn't do a glowing interview with him 6 weeks ago isn't going to tell you to go screw off, or isn't going to. It's a fear that you live with, but you do it because that's what the job is.
Or the one-word Belichick answer?
Right. But, well, one word answers you can live with, because that's okay. You give me one word answers, 3 questions, you're out of there. That's it. Boom.
Right.
Cut it short, go back. But for him to do that, and I'm just thinking, when he did that, I'm just thinking, how many people are sitting in their living rooms, fathers or mothers, are sitting there with their kids watching this thing, and this asshole leans into the mic and does something like that. Not only does he do it, you know, when Will Clark did it back in, what was it, 80, 87, 86, whatever that was, he was, I don't think he did it maliciously.
No, he was too excited. You know, Will,
He was just excited. Maybe he had a bottle of champagne. Who knows? But it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't a malicious. This was malicious. This guy set this up. He knew what he was going to do, and he did it. And I don't know what the problem some of the players have with Ken Rosenthal is.
Well, it was something he said in the pregame show that got around to the players, and they said they will not do the end game interviews with Rosenthal.
Well, you know, if that's the case, Rosenthal should have cut his losses. If you know, if that was the deal, then Rosenthal probably should at that point. At that, you know, if something like that happened to me at that point, I would say to the producer, the director, listen,
let's send somebody else.
Let's just not do this. Let's just, you know, we don't, you know, people aren't going to hear anything. I've never heard anything from a star of the game
that made any difference.
That's changed my life. That's made any difference. That's given me more insight into a team. So I was just surprised that they didn't fine him. They didn't do anything. They let him get away with it. But I lost all respect for the dude.
How come the league didn't do anything?
That's what I don't understand. I mean, in a league that tries to control everything, tries to worry about their image, tries to worry about bringing young kids into the game, bringing females into the game,
bringing minorities back into the game.
Yeah, how do you let somebody get away with that and not fine them or suspend them? Now, again, maybe there's been a fine levied and I didn't see it. I've been looking for it.
I didn't read anything about it.
Yeah, it just really, and maybe as a country, we've just become so desensitized to the 7 words that you can't say on television unless you're saying them on Fox. Maybe we've just become desensitized to a point where if the president says it, why can't a ball player? And I think that's a sad commentary on us.
And
Another erosion of what's supposed to be class,
civility.
civility, right? Exactly, decorum.
Good
Um,
word.
yeah, it's just it's just something that that erosion of the niceties of our society. And listen, we curse on this show, but this isn't TV. This isn't
No.
mass TV.
And I'm not Lou
To
Gehrig.
Yeah, I don't think that people are sitting by the TV with their kids saying this is why you should love baseball because a guy like Kike Hernandez can
Say and do what he wants.
yeah, it's just a sad moment for the sport, a sad moment for an organization. It's supposed to be a classy organization. Although, again, this is not the first time we've seen this kind of stuff from the Dodgers, right? Didn't they have a bunch of players go up into the stands a few years ago and start smacking fans around?
I don't remember that. It's funny. They're right down. They play right down the street, but I don't follow them at all.
Yeah, yeah. It's just it's sad. Anyway, game game 5 tonight.
Winner go home.
Hopefully, the
Winner go
Mets
to
will
LA.
find what it takes to, at the very least, Michael, don't let them win it at City Field.
No, make him go back home.
If they're going to win it, let them go back to their home crowd
It's what they want
and
anyway.
and win it in front of their home crowd. Don't
Don't spray champagne all over Queens.
Yeah, I already saw one celebration at City Field from the other team. I don't need to see any more. So hopefully
Just
that'll
hit the damn ball. Hit the damn ball. I tell you.
hit the damn ball. I'll have my lucky hat on, and hopefully the luck will get recharged. It's been breaking my heart the last couple of times.
There's some luck left in that hat.
There's got to be. I'm looking at that green button at the top of the hat, and I'm thinking that's where some luck has got to be. So
Green for go.
green for go.
Say, Vinny, what are you driving?
Mikey, I'm driving a Mini Cooper S.
Whoa.
I got to tell you, man, this is one of my favorites. I always
It's a frisky car, isn't it? Frisky.
yeah, it's a frisky car. It's got 100 and no, it's got 210 horsepower, I think, in a little car. And the thing I like about this car, one of the things I like about it the most, is that it's got a lot of style. It's the engineers at BMW who makes Cooper now have figured out how to build an interior that has a lot of space in a small car.
So it's an
And
illusion.
for a guy of ample proportion like me,
You need it.
that's good news
Yeah.
because it's a small car that I can get into. It's a small car that I can fit into. It's a small car that handles well. I'm not scrunched in driving this thing. I'm relaxed. The seats adjust nicely. It's got a lot of style.
Well, 210 horses, that explains why they take high test gasoline, I guess.
I don't know if this one takes high test. I'm not sure. I haven't gassed it up yet. I'll have to take a look at the fact sheet to see if it does. But it's an enjoyable car to drive. It really is. It is it's like banana yellow and black. So if I was in Pittsburgh, I'd be getting lauded by people. I would be getting applause from people. It would be this beautiful thing, and it has, which is one of those love and hate things. It has the big instrument panel that's in the middle of the dashboard.
Right.
So it's this big round gauge that's in the middle. And in essence, it's a computer screen
Right.
that's been rounded off, and you can switch it between 5 different modes.
Oh,
So you can have like a grandfather clock. You can have the modern mini. You can have the classic mini. Um, you can just have you can set this thing up uh, to have some style, so it doesn't look like every other car.
incredible. I love that.
And when you combine that, now I haven't taken it out on the Joe Riccici Memorial Automotive Test Course yet. I'm going to do that probably tomorrow. Give it a good ride. Uh, Matter of fact, my daughter and I are going to go out and find. We still, Michael, after all these years, go out and go to a pumpkin patch. You know,
Do you get a big
what
one or
can
a
I
little
tell you?
one?
We have certain family traditions. So we're gonna take the car out to the pumpkin patch tomorrow, and just have fun, and see what it does out on the road. I'm like I say, I'm a big fan of these cars. If I had to go out and buy a new car these days, this is probably what I would look into.
Wow.
For me,
And what's the price for everything?
I think this one is 33. Yeah, I think
It's
it's 33.
cheaper than I expected. I expected it to be
Well, yeah,
40
and
plus.
it has the S package, which is the higher end package. It has a lot of the interior stuff that you would want to have in the car. It has nicer wheels than the standard wheels. Um, Although I would probably wait until they came out with the John Cooper Works model, which would give you special exhaust and give you a little bit more of a sporty suspension and that kind of stuff. Be a little bit of a hot rod. Although I don't drive like that anymore, it's always nice to hear that rumble.
Yeah, the throaty approach.
Yeah, there's that throaty rumble that you pull into the Dick's parking lot with on a on a Friday or Saturday night, and they look and go, "Who's the old guy in the cool car?"
Now that's Vinny. He's
For some
always
reason,
here.
I get a
That's just
kick out of doing that.
that's
You
Vinny.
know,
He drives a different car every week.
yeah, I remember when my dad used to, my dad would always have people that would bring their cars because he used to tune cars for performance. And so, somebody would invariably always be bringing him in a new Camaro or a new Firebird. Or I remember one time somebody brought in a 427, a 428 Shelby Cobra
Oh dear.
um, Mustang. And I mean, you could hear that thing coming down the block. And so my father put me in the car and he took me to White Castle. And this is when White Castle still had the waitresses that came out and hung the tray on the window, like Burgermaster does today. And I just remember how cool it was to be sitting in this car and guys are coming up to my dad. My dad's sitting in the car eating our hamburgers,
What the
and
hell
how
is
cool
this?
it was for people to come up and be asking him questions about the car.
Let
And
me
he
pay for
was,
your malt. Let me pay for your malted.
well, nobody got that outrageous about it, but it was one of those things that happen to you when you're a kid that makes you think your father is like the coolest guy in the world.
Oh yeah.
What are we doing here in this parking lot? And all these guys got all these great cars, but yet they're all coming over to my father and asking him questions about the car he's driving. When you're 10 years old, 11 years old,
It's a big deal.
that's a pretty cool thing, man. That's pretty cool. I don't know if he's got his pack of Luckies in his shirt. He used to carry cigarettes up here in his shirt pocket. And he's
Of course.
people like, hey, he's got his name on his shirt and everything. Hey, Joe, can I bum a cigarette off you? Yeah, yeah. You can smell the gasoline and they don't care. Light up a match and light up that Lucky Strike. and that's kind of the scene you get when you pull into Dick's parking lot at on a Friday night at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. The hot rodders are hanging out, people with cool cars. You pull in with a cool car, and they're kind of looking at you
Of course.
and checking you out. Did you go down to Hertz and rent this thing, or how did you get it? And then you talk to people. So it'll be nice. I'll take it down to Cars and Coffee tomorrow morning in Shoreline, and
Get a coffee.
well, the good thing there is it's a lot of car enthusiasts that you get to talk to. I always go to look at other people's cars, but I also go to show off what I have, because I think it's like a little added extra something to get these people's opinions on what car I'm driving, and then send them back to the manufacturers.
Make it part of the show, sure.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of a focus group of what they're seeing. So that's what I'm driving. It's a very cool car, Michael. It's one of those cars that if you get into it, you take a drive in it, you're usually going to feel better.
And what's the model number?
That's the 2025 Mini Cooper S. And again, for $35,000, you drive something that stands out a little bit from the crowd.
Absolutely.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Have a good weekend, Vinnie.
Mikey, have a good weekend. We'll have plenty of time to talk politics next week. We're coming down the home stretch.
15 days or so. So
yeah, we're coming down the home stretch. And the only thing I can say is this weekend, if you have a chance, pick up the phone, call somebody you know in Pennsylvania, North Carolina, or Michigan, or Ohio, and encourage them to get out and vote for Kamala Harris. And I will say,
the early turnout in North Carolina and Georgia has been impressive, record-setting. So that's great.
Yeah, really has. I mean, people are taking this stuff seriously, which is, if nothing else, it makes my heart feel good.
As the troops would say, I'm proud to be an American.
I'm proud to be an American. Mikey, have a good weekend, man. Take care. What are you doing this weekend?
I got baseball tomorrow with Bo's team. The Storm Chasers are playing tomorrow, the 5-year-olds.
And he's kicking little butt, isn't he?
He's hitting the damn ball. He's got a natural hit. He's got a natural swing, and he just hits it.
Mikey, take some pictures, man. I want to see the young man in action.
It shall be done.
All right, I'll see you on Monday if the Lord's will and the creek don't rise, Mikey.
Get your Manischewitz and enjoy.
Until then, baby, peace, love, Manischewitz.
Let's go Mets.
Let's go Mets, baby. Take care, Mikey. Thank you all for listening too. We always appreciate it, and always feel. We're talking about feeling the vibes before. We always appreciate it when we feel your vibe coming to us from wherever you are listening from. Have a good weekend. Be nice to each other, and let's go Mets. Take care.